The Dodgers kick things off on the right foot in Cincy to support an incredible outing from Yoshinobu Yamamoto. But Blake Treinen's return? Yeah, not the dominance that we remembered.
You are Locked On Dodgers, your daily Los Angeles Dodgers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It's time for Locked On Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Los Angeles gets back on track with the top of the lineup, supporting a great Yoshinobu Yamamoto performance as the team starts a 3-game series in Cincinnati. Blake Treinen made his first major league appearance in over 3 months, and it wasn't great. Plus, we have a huge Max Muncy update, and the team's top infield prospect is joining the Dodgers big league club. We're talking about this in today's episode of Locked On Dodgers. He's Travis Rogers. I'm Harry Ruiz, two guys who talk sports for a living and bleed Dodger blue for life. If you're an early bird, a listener of our show, you can get more Travis on 710 ESPN LA or the ESPN LA app from 9 to noon with the Travis and DeMarco show. As for me, I'm the Spanish radio play-by-play broadcaster for the Las Vegas Raiders and USC football, but nothing beats jumping on the mic every weekday morning and diving deep into what I love most, which is talking Dodger baseball with you. Travis, the Stars delivered for LA in the batter's box and on the mound. First, we got to give credit where credit is due. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, spectacular. He set the tone. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 9 strikeouts, and the best part, only 2 walks. That's the type of ace you need in your rotation, and fortunately, he received the run support that he's not used to getting.
No, they got him some runs, and they got him some runs relatively early in the game that allowed him to kind of go to work and do what he needed to do. And, you know, this is not a criticism of Dustin May or Clayton Kershaw specifically, but Yamamoto was able to do what May and Kershaw were not able to do, which is get some shaky defensive stuff behind them and continue to say, okay, fine, I'll just do it myself. We saw Kershaw struggle in Milwaukee about a week or so ago where the defense let him down and he was unable to get out of it, gave up some hits and a bunch of runs come in. They end up losing the game. We saw Dustin May, a couple of misplayed balls against him in Boston the other day. The next thing you know, some runs are in. The Dodgers lose the game. Last night, all of a sudden, Yamamoto's out there, and there's a ball that's dropped in the middle of left field on a routine play that should have been an easy out. And now all of a sudden, he finds himself in the deep end of the pool with nobody out, and he does what aces do, and that is, guys, I got it. We're going to be okay. And he reaches back and he gets a pop-up. He gets a strikeout. He pitched himself out of that inning, and he did exactly what an ace does in those situations is, guys, I got you. Mistakes happen. No big deal. Let me fix this myself. And he reached back and went to another level. He is absolutely fantastic when he looks like he looked last night. Now, there's some consistency issues, and look, his bad games are still pretty good, but we're getting closer and closer to him being that guy where when he takes the ball, you've got no chance. You know, and having a guy like that is an incredible advantage. It's an incredible luxury, and he was absolutely terrific last night. And I like what you mentioned, Harry, too. Just a couple of walks in 7 innings that just Yamamoto does what stars do, what aces do. They pitch themselves out of trouble, they end losing streaks, and they make it look easy doing it. He was fantastic.
Here are some stats to support the arguments you just made. Despite that 21 first pitch inning, he settled in and put himself and the team in a position they needed, because for a while it seemed like during that first inning we were saying, well, it's going to be a 5-inning game for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Yeah. But no, it was his 21st start of the year, his 11th quality start, which means at least 6 innings and allowing 3 earned runs or fewer. 15th time with 2 runs or less allowed in 2025. Only 3 times has he conceded more than 3 runs this year. And the best part, he has remained healthy all season long. That's something that we can't just put as a footnote. Last year, we had very little Yoshinobu Yamamoto compared to what we've seen already this year. So hopefully it stays that way. the best part too, the arsenal was in full display. 6 total pitches that he had with bringing in different looks to the batters. That was big. And with that, he was able to get 21 swings and misses, a career high. And he started off 20 out of the 27 batters that he faced with a strike. When you have 0-1 counts against 75% of the players that you pitch at, that's a recipe for success and for a long outing.
Yeah, you mentioned a bunch of stuff there, Harry. I agree with everything that you're talking about. Number one is the first pitch strike. This is why, and I understand I'm a bit of a lunatic when it comes to this stuff, but you got to get ahead of guys. And when you have the stuff like Yamamoto has, once you're ahead 0-1, it's kind of a wrap. Like he's too good of a pitcher. He's got too much good stuff that if he can throw whatever he wants at you, you're going to be chasing him the rest of the night and he's going to dominate you. I think that is a really good point. I loved how he got ahead. And I think that's what gives Dodger fans so much confidence. Like he's going to give up a hit once in a while. He's going to give up a home run once in a while. And that's okay. As long as there's nobody on base that you just put on there yourself. So I think that's an incredibly a good point. Number two is the health. Here we are closing in on August, right? It's July 29th as we sit here and record today's episode. And that Yoshinobu Yamamoto has taken the ball every single time he's been asked is extraordinary. And, you know, I don't want to jinx it or anything like that, but I would have never thought that was going to happen after what we saw last year. You know, he missed half the season last year. And I think that it served him well. He was very fresh at the end of the year. He certainly was a big part of why they won the World Series last year, but he looks terrific with about 2 months in the regular season to go. I still wouldn't be surprised if you saw him get a little bit of a break at some point, because I think that's important for him to, you know, just not many guys take 6 months worth of starts and then walk right into the postseason. This isn't 1988 anymore. Oral Hershiser hasn't pitched in the league in a long time. And lastly, when it comes to Yamamoto, I just love the competitiveness. There just never seems to be any give in him. Like he continues to fire. He continues to throw strikes. He continues to attack hitters. And that's just not necessarily the way that everybody goes about it. And that's also not the way that everybody can go about it. You know, Clayton Kershaw at this stage in his career can't go in there and just start firing, you know, strike after strike after strike. He just doesn't have the stuff at this point. Dustin May, for reasons that I don't quite understand, tries to nibble a little bit and falls behind. We've seen it with Blake Snell, or like, just fill up that strike zone. Go at guys. See what they can do against your best stuff. And when you got stuff like Yamamoto, you're going to win way more than you're going to lose. And I loved everything about him that I saw last night. He was just fantastic.
I mean, between the 4th and the 7th innings, only one man got on base against Yamamoto. Gavin Lux with a walk.
Right.
As the game advanced, Yoshi got better and better. So, arigato, Yamamoto. Keep at it. We love it. Now, going with the bats. I predicted Mookie Betts would have a huge performance, and he ended up scoring more runs on his own than the Reds as a team in this game. 2 for 4 with the walk and 3-run scores. That's the kind of performance which can be the slump buster that we needed, and hopefully that's what this is the turning point. July 28th, 2025 for the rest of the year.
I sure hope so, Harry. I had the same thought that you did, that seeing Mookie have a night like he had, 3 runs, 2 hits, he stole a base. He was an impactful player last night. And he
had fun.
Yeah,
you're right.
You're right. He looked like a guy that was enjoying himself, that was a little lighter on his feet. Just it looked like he had been, you know, and I hate to put too much, you know, stock in just watching from a distance and watching on TV, but he did look like he was, you know, moderately unburdened. And, you know, going through what he went through is incredibly difficult, but hopefully, you know, this is the beginning of something. Hopefully this is the beginning of the return of Mookie Betts, of a guy at the top of the order or near the top of the order that can really impact a game in 100 different ways. I thought he made a couple of nice plays at shortstop on some hard hit balls as well. He had a Mookie Betts game. He affected it with his legs, with his bat, with his glove. Just a terrific night for him. And hopefully it is the start of something, and not just, you know, the weirdness of baseball where every once in a while everybody has a good day.
Hey, early games means I have more time to do some research on more numbers, and here's some from Mookie. This was his second multi-hit game in his last 14 games. Monday marked the first time he got on base 3 times since June 7th. Just to put it into perspective, he had played in 38 games since then, and in only 10 of those, he had gotten on base multiple times, and none of them more than twice. And I'm talking about add the hits and add the walks in there. That shows you just how much he had been struggling during the months of June and July. And now it's time to turn it up for the final stretch, just how Shohei Ohtani keeps being a difference maker for LA.
That is crazy that a guy as talented as Mookie Betts and by the way, it's not like he's had a good season. I mean, this is a guy that's 12 years into his major league career and just has had one remarkable season after the other. And to see him go through a patch that is that, below the line by his standards is really something. And like I mentioned, hopefully this is the start of something. Baseball, as what makes it weird and frustrating and makes you want to, bang your head on the desk sometimes is also the thing that makes you go, okay, that sometimes just one good night and all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's it. That's all I have. Okay, cool. And all of a sudden you just start to roll again from there. So hopefully Mookie rediscovered, his mojo a little bit last night and he can start looking like Mookie Betts all over again because they're going to need him.
There's average players, there's below average players, there's good players, and then there's superstar players, like a case of Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani, who with the game tied 1-1 in the top of the fifth, it was showtime with Ohtani hitting a double to center field, and he brought home Betts and Miguel Rojas. The Dodgers never looked back.
The Ohtani double, I think the Reds center fielder thought he was going to catch it in the air. It was just hit so blanking hard that
111 miles, 111.
Yeah, it just went by him like a laser beam. Like, major leaguers, it's very rare where you see him take a really ugly route on a ball in the air like that. And I really think he thought he was going to get there. It was just hit so hard, it went right by him. He is, even by, like you were talking about, there are below average, very good superstars. Whatever's above that is where this dude lives.
Exactly. And then also, how impressive is this? He scored a run in the seventh after getting on base with a walk. That was his 100th run of the season. Ohtani leads all of baseball in that stat. Next closest player, Aaron Judge with 90. After them, Ellie De La Cruz with 78. Nobody else is over 75. That's crazy. And I mean, I think this gives Dave Roberts and the front office the we were right factor when it comes to Shohei leading off for most of the year.
Yeah, the next thing he can't do on a baseball diamond will be the very first that I have ever seen. And one of my favorite things about him is the way that he can run the bases. It's not just that he's incredibly fast. It's the way that he runs the bases as well. He has incredible technique. He's got incredible instincts. He covers a ton of ground with the way that he can run. So that he leads the league in runs by a comfortable margin is no surprise to me. Look, you could bat Shohei Ohtani first and everybody's like, yep, sounds great. Bat him third, yep, sounds great. Bat him fourth, yep. Put him wherever you want, and this guy's going to find a way to impact your team in a positive way. Just, I couldn't marvel anymore at what I see on a regular basis. He is extraordinary.
And also, I went to the franchise records. Last year, Shohei scored 134 runs. That's tied ninth in franchise history. This season, he still has 55 games left in the bank to get over that number, and he's 48 away from the Dodgers' single-season record, which was achieved, Travis, all the way back in 1890 with Hub Collins getting 148. I think by the end of the 2025 season, there's going to be a new name in there, which, by the way, it's now a 9-game hitting streak for Shohei Ohtani. And my favorite part was that he extended that streak without needing a home run. And heck, we saw a little small ball out there for the Dodgers with a couple of bunts. It didn't bring a runner to home, but I was like, hey, that's good. I like them just going outside the box for them to be like, let's build a run. Let's bring a runner home.
I think it's incredibly important. It gets very hard to hit home runs in the postseason. It gets the postseason, you see better pitchers. It's harder to hit home runs against better pitchers, et cetera, et cetera. You need to be able to manufacture some stuff and, winning games we know they're going to win games if they hit 3 home runs. That's just, if they hit a few home runs, they're going to win. That's just the way that it goes. But what happens on the nights you don't hit home runs? And last night's is a good example of what you're looking for. Like you said, they manufactured some stuff, got some big hits in key situations. It was a good night.
Well, next on Locked On Dodgers, we talk more regarding Monday's game, but now looking at the bullpen because Yoshinobu Yamamoto left the game on a silver platter for the relievers, and yet the Reds had the winning run up at bat in the 9th inning. Today's episode is brought to you by Gameday Hue. Their gear hits the mark for Dodgers fans just like me. Gameday Hue makes clean, no-logo gear with team-inspired colorways for every pro and college fan base. It's all about letting your colors speak for you with a smart, versatile style that works on game day, on the course, and anywhere in between. You can wear it at tailgates, tee times, and just running errands. I always get compliments when I rock mine. And it's not just hats. For all our golfers out there, check out their split shade gloves made for the golf course. The perfect gift for the fan who has everything. Right now, you can get 15% off with the code MLB15 at GamedayHue.com. That's GamedayHue.com. The code even stacks up on bundle deals, so now's the time to load up. Let your colors talk, because colors speak louder than words. That's GamedayHue.com, code MLB15. Thanks for making us your first listen wherever you may be tuning in, either on your favorite podcast app or on our YouTube channel. Smash that notification bell so you never miss a beat. Full episodes, hot takes, breaking Dodgers news, and the Dodgers postcast, which Pete Fox leads live after the final out of every game. If it drops, you're on it. That's how you become an everydayer here on Locked On Dodgers, like ADK, who yesterday said in our YouTube comments, and I quote, "Frustrating to see them lose games they could have clearly won." And I mean, the bullpen has been put in tough situations and have lost games that they had the lead in, but now that wasn't the case on Monday, where they only needed 2 innings. Alex Vesia took care of the 8th, and Blake Treinen came into the 9th with a big 4-run cushion that he ended up needing because he walked 2, surrendered 2 hits and a run, and left with the bases loaded. Travis, it's unfortunate that Treinen wasn't able to, that he wasn't the dominant self that we've seen in the past, but we weren't expecting him to come back and in day one be the lights out closer after not pitching in a big leagues game since April 13th.
Yeah, I want to get to Treinen in just one sec, Harry. I'm glad you brought up Alex Vesia, because let's give him a little bit of love real quick about the job that he did. He came in there and just bang, 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 and did exactly what you would hope to do after Yamamoto sets the table. Like you said, like, guys, here it is. Just get me 6 more outs. Let's get this series. Got a chance to win the series today, et cetera, et cetera. And Vesia, who I really don't even think it's close, Harry. Try to convince me if there's another name here. Alex Vesia has been the best Dodger bullpen arm all season long, and it's not close. Like, he has been the guy that's gone out there, week after week after week and just been absolutely terrific. So hats off to him for doing a great job. Treinen was bad. Now, that doesn't mean that he's bad. It means that last night was bad. It's his first time back in quite some time. The way that he pitches is going to take a little bit of time to knock some rust off. There's so much action. There's so much bite on his stuff for him to be able to locate, for him to be able to find the strike zone, I think is going to be a little bit of a work in progress. Unlike some other guys, I have a lot of faith in Blake Treinen. We've seen him get a lot of big outs in a lot of big moments. I know that Treinen is one of those guys, and I use this phrase a lot. The everydayers will recognize it. I love guys that aren't scared. I love guys that go out there and just attack. And I think Treinen is one of those guys. It's just last night he did the thing you can't do, and that's walk people. It's one thing to give up a couple of hits. That happened, but he also walked 2 guys along the way. 2 hits are not going to kill you. 2 hits and 2 walks put you, like you said, on the 1-inch line of having a catastrophe. Dreyer comes in and does a pretty good job after that. But I think this was more hey, let's get his feet wet for Blake Treinen. Let's get him back into a big league environment. Let's get him back into what that feels like as far as adrenaline and emotions and competitiveness. It's, I know he'd been really good in the minors on some rehab assignments, but pitching in the minor leagues is not the same thing as the major leagues. And I'm not even talking about the hitters that are in the batter's box. I'm talking about the pressure that comes along with it, just understanding your body and how it's going to respond to those moments. And I have a lot of faith in him. My only question with Treinen is, will he be able to stay healthy for the next couple of months, 3 months, if they go into the postseason and make a long run? That's my only concern with him. He'll be okay. It just wasn't a good night for him.
Yeah, and I am on the same page with you when it comes to Blake Treinen, where after a bad outing, I feel like, okay, it was a bad outing. He'll come back and be
Yeah.
better tomorrow or the next day when the next time he's on the mound. That's not the case what I feel like with the newcomers, with Tanner Scott and
No.
Kirby Yates, which I hate that it seems like I'm just hitting on the right there and just banging on the drum and being like trying and better than Scott and Yates. No, that's how I feel. And that's how I feel that most of our Dodgers brothers and sisters out there that tune into Locked On Dodgers are everydayers that they feel as well. It's like, okay, at least he didn't blow it. And now he gave a chance to come in and get a save for Jack Dreyer, who was the 9th Dodger to get a save this season, which is incredible. And going back to the topic of Alex Vesia, that was his 50th appearance in 2025. And I just don't, I love Alex Vesia, but I feel that he's best suited to pitch that 8th inning or 7th inning and get the Dodgers to the 9th, because there's been cases where you feel great about a reliever and then you like, okay, let's put him in the closer role because he's great. And then the 9th inning, it's a completely different monster.
Yeah, he's exactly where he should be, and he thrives in that role. And he's been really good, and not just this season, but for a few seasons now. They really found a good one in Vesia in the way that he's been able to step up and help his team. I like what you said about Scott and Yates and the difference in just, for like, I know it's the buzzword of the moment, but just the vibes that they bring to the mound with them when they go out there. The vibe with Scott and Yates is, let's see what happens. Okay, hold on, buckle up. Let's see what's about to happen. And it makes sense, with Yates and with Scott, their time with the Dodgers has been marked with a lot of inconsistency, with a lot of failure, quite frankly. And with a guy like Treinen, you don't have that. Even on a night where he doesn't pitch particularly well, the vibes are pretty good because we've seen him pitch really well in a Dodger uniform at Dodger Stadium, help this team time after time after time. So you expect to see it again. I'm still, cautiously optimistic on Scott and maybe a little bit less so on Yates, that they'll figure this thing out at some point, but we just haven't seen enough success for the Dodgers for those guys to have that. Oh, they're going to get going. We're hoping that whatever they had in Texas or San Diego in their 2 most recent stops starts to show up in LA. But it's don't tell me what you did over there. Tell me what you're doing for me. And so far, what the Dodgers have gotten from those 2 guys has been way under expectation.
Yeah, they didn't pay you for what you did for your previous stops. They pay you for what you're supposed to do for the team that you're in right now. And right now, they're not they're earning their money because they got that contract and they came with the big performances. But man, on the field, they're not looking like high-end relievers. And speaking of high-end relievers, they avoided the choke job. That's good. Now we got Treinen back. And after not looking great, I think that it's still very important to find those high leverage relievers before the trade deadline this Thursday. We're a little bit over 48 hours when we're recording today's podcast. We still need to make some deals.
Yeah, it's funny. I think that in a weird way, the universe will kind of tell you, which way you need to go. And the universe is saying, guys, you're a little short down there. You need to go and find another arm. Maybe I wouldn't even be surprised, Harry, if they came back with a couple more. We'll see. There's Jackson, there's Bednar, and there's all these other, Duran. There's all these names that kind of get. Clase obviously is off the board with what happened yesterday. He won't be going anywhere anytime soon. But yeah, I think that it's very obvious that they need to upgrade that part of their team. There's still Brusdar Graterol that may return to some point. He would be a big addition. He's another guy that has pitched in high leverage moments. Michael Kopech hopefully can come back and be effective at some point. But when it comes to Treinen and Kopech and Graterol and those guys, all of them are guys that you can't feel great about with their injury history. You can feel great about their stuff. You can feel great about their competitive spirit, but their health is always a big question. So I really expect them to do something in the bullpen, and I still expect them to do something in the outfield too.
Absolutely. And now, coming up on Locked On Dodgers, we have a big update regarding Max Muncy, plus injuries from 2 middle infielders are opening up the door for top prospect Alex Freeland to join the big league club. Don't forget to follow Locked On Dodgers not only on YouTube, but on X, Instagram, and TikTok as well. You can find Travis on social media at Travis Rogers on X and Instagram. Meanwhile, I'm at Harry Ruiz on X, at Harry_Ruiz on Instagram, and at Harry Ruiz_ on TikTok. Let us know how excited you are for the potential return of Max Muncy, who was originally set to be back in mid-August at the earliest, but he will start his rehab assignment with Oklahoma City today. And there's a possibility of him being active this weekend in Tampa for the series for the Dodgers, for the first series of the Dodgers have in the month of August. That's a big improvement for something that when the injury happened, we were thinking the worst with the way it happened. We were like, all right, season-ending injury, helmet to knee, that's not good.
No, it looked awful. I mean, when he got hit, you're like, okay, he's gone. And quite frankly, like gone for the rest of the season, for the postseason. Who knows what that was going to be? That he is back as quickly as like you mentioned, maybe this weekend is extraordinary. And look, I'm a Max Muncy fan. I think he's been incredibly valuable for the Dodgers pretty much his entire career. He's always found his way into the middle of some big moments. And when he's good, the Dodgers are really good. When he struggles, you know, they tend to struggle a little bit. And this isn't any great insight, but I do think it bears repeating is that, look, you need Mookie and Freddie and Shohei to be your megastars. Those guys are the guys that make the money. They're the guys that are, you know, doing all the things that show up on highlight shows and all that stuff. They're great players. But the way you win series, the way you win 100 games year after year, the way that you're a dangerous team in the playoffs is what happens if those guys aren't able to carry the team? Who steps up into that void? And that's been Max Muncy a lot. Like, I mean, a lot over the few years that he's been here. I mean, this is a guy that's closing in on the all-time record for Dodger home runs as an LA Dodger. He's a really important part of what they do. And if he can come in there and look, he doesn't have to be the guy that seemed to be hitting a home run every other night. He just needs to be regular old Max Muncy, just a really good player. And it's going to change a lot of stuff. It takes a ton of pressure off some other guys, Edmund, Teo, maybe even a little bit of Will Smith. It allows everybody to take a little bit of a deep breath, and he will be welcomed back with open arms. It's a big addition to get him back with the team.
He's the glue guy in the lineup that connects one segment of the lineup to the next without missing a beat. He's a glue guy in the clubhouse. And I mean, you look, he's batting .250. That's the third highest average in his career. His OBP is .375, second best mark in his time in the big leagues. Now, the big question is, what kind of play are we going to get from him? Because we don't know in what shape his knee is until we actually see him over the next couple of days in AAA with Oklahoma City.
And of course, you know, he got off to that horrible start at the beginning of the season before he finally got back on track and really started to look like Muncy again. And who knows what being down for the better part of a month will do to that. Does he go back to the version which was struggling a little bit? Did he get his glasses, you know, and all of a sudden that unlocked everything and he was a lot better after that? Does he slide right back into the order and look like the guy he was right before he got hurt? You know, there's like we were just talking about with Treinen a second ago. It takes a moment to readjust to the major leagues. It is hard. It is really hard. And all of a sudden, you know, you're going through one thing, and now all of a sudden you got to deal with major league pitchers, you know, 4 or 5 times a night. That's a lot to ask. So I do think there'll be a little bit of an on-ramping period to him kind of to find his sea legs again. But I'm optimistic. He is a major league hitter. He is a major league slugger. He hits home runs. He draws walks. He sees a lot of pitches. I can't wait to have him back. I think he really settles things down when he comes back.
And now also Miguel Rojas has actually been playing pretty decent for the Dodgers. And it's no coincidence that it's when he has been seeing the most playing time over the last couple of seasons that he's looking the best. What will we do with him? But sorry, go for it, Travis.
Well, I think it allows you to go back to doing what it is that you should be doing all along, which is if Muncy is at third, you can put Rojas at second, which means Tommy Edman can go back to the outfield. You know, do you want to put him in left field? Maybe you can. You put him back in center, depending on his health. You can put Pajas in right. You can put Teo back in left. It allows you to take some guys and put them in positions where they're going to be more successful. Teo, is not a good right field. I love Teoscar Hernandez. I think he's a terrific player, and he's having a little bit of a down year, but I'm a huge fan of his, but he's not a very good right fielder. He's much better suited in left field. So if Muncy's back and Rojas continues to swing a bat, it allows you to use Rojas and Kim in a platoon if you want to do it, a little left-right situation there. But it allows Edman to go back to the outfield and just fill in what is a pretty big hole out there in left field.
You just mentioned Edman, and he's connected to our final part of today's show, which is another big update regarding the roster. The top infield prospect in the Dodgers system, Alex Freeland, he traveled to Cincinnati to join the team, but at the moment, he hasn't been officially called up. He's going to join the taxi squad, aka not on the active 26-man roster, but we're on the road so we can bring somebody else. And why is he doing so? Well, Ha-Seong Kim and Tommy Edman, they clearly aren't at 100%. Kim, he's fighting a left shoulder injury, and you can see him grimace every time he takes a swing. And Edman, he has a right ankle injury that re-aggravated it Sunday at Fenway Park and scratched him from the lineup on Monday. So you need to have options for the middle infield. And Freeland, he's been doing a great job in the minor leagues. In AAA this season, 253 batting average, 798 OPS, 12 home runs, 71 RBIs, 17 stolen bases in the PCL. At the moment, like I said, he's not called up yet, but you know that when they're bringing him up to the big league club to be with them during trade deadline week, that shows you how much they value him, and I doubt that they'll include him in any deal.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. I'm excited to see him, only having seen him in spring training here and there. He looks like he's a pretty good player. Spring training, I don't put a ton of stock in that, but like you mentioned, he's done well in the minor leagues, and it gives them, one more guy to throw into the mix and see who is hot, or more importantly, perhaps who is healthy, because, to kind of going back to what we were talking about with Max Muncy a second ago, Tommy Edman kind of has the same effect on this team. When he's healthy and he's good, everything else gets a little easier. You go back to when they were off to that incredible start at the very beginning of the season. Well, who was hot as a pistol? It was Tommy Edman. Remember, he got 8 home runs in the first, whatever it was, 20 games of the season. He was absolutely fantastic. He's clearly not healthy. He's clearly not at his best. So if he needs a little time to get right and come back for September and October, then that's what needs to get done. And Freeland's going to get his opportunity. And look, this is what's exciting. This is what makes baseball so much fun, is that over the course of 6 months, guys that play every day won't. They're going to get hurt. They're going to go down. They're going to need some time away. They're going to need to get healthy. And that gives opportunities to other people. And all of a sudden you slide into that role. And if you get hot and you start to connect and you're able to get hits and you can do the things to help the team win, well, now all of a sudden you're part of it going into October, and somebody else could be the odd man out. So this is Freeland's opportunity. We'll see what he does with it.
Yeah, and he was a 3rd-round pick in 2022. He's a switch hitter, which is pretty big, and also has a strong glove. Let's see how his batting translates to the big leagues, because it's a completely different monster.
It sure is. The list of guys that have killed it in the minor leagues and who can never figure it out in the major leagues is a long one. That is a huge jump from the highest levels of minor league baseball to major league baseball. Everybody in the big leagues is awesome. Everybody, and the pitchers in particular. So once they find out what you don't do well, they're going to attack you, and you need to adjust. And again, this is why I love baseball as much as I do. It is a never-ending back and forth. You go, I go, you go, I go. We're constantly trying to figure each other out, and some guys can do it and some guys can't. We'll see about Freeland.
Hopefully in a couple of weeks, we'll be talking Alex Freeland. He's on the list of guys that figured it out instead of the list of guys that didn't.
What's crazy too, though, Harry, is sometimes guys come out and let's use another Dodger. James Alman's all like, oh man, this guy's great. And then the pitchers, oh, he doesn't do this well. Well, here we are a year and a half later, and he's still getting pumped high fastballs, and he hasn't figured it out. And maybe he never will. It's just, it's hard, man. It's really, really hard.
Hey, that's a beautiful game, baseball, man. And that's why we love coming here every single weekday and talking with you about it. But for now, that'll do it for today's show. From Travis and I, thank you for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen every weekday. If you're craving more baseball talk, have the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night be your second listen. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find it on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And also, catch Pete Fox after every Dodgers game on our YouTube channel with his live postcast immediately after the final out of every Dodgers game. We'll be back on Wednesday to talk about Tyler Glasnow's fourth start since his return from the IL and potentially Alex Freeland's major league debut. Travis, are the Dodgers clinching today their first road series in the second half of the season?
I'm out of the prediction business, Harry. Every time I've said something, it's gone wrong. I was wrong in Boston. I was wrong with Milwaukee. So I'm just going to let today in Cincinnati play out and hope that we show up tomorrow with the series win in our back pocket.
No. Now you got to say that the Dodgers won't win today. That way, tomorrow we're back here talking about a win.
If I can reverse whammy this thing into happening, then sure, the Dodgers get clobbered today. Whatever it takes.
Very interesting take. Don't clip Travis Rogers on that one. We appreciate you riding with us. Until next time, keep it real, keep it Dodger Blue.